Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? It's a moment that leaves you standing still, scratching your head, and wondering what on earth you were thinking just moments before. You stand there puzzled, retracing your steps, mentally. You try to recall the sequence of events that led you to this point, hoping to jog your memory. What was I looking for? You ask yourself, feeling a mix of frustration and amusement. It's a common, almost comical experience. We've all been there, and it's something that often brings a smile to our faces when we realize how silly it seems. One minute you're on a mission, the next, your mind draws a blank. The determination in your stride suddenly evaporates, replaced by a cloud of confusion. This strange phenomenon is called the doorway effect. It's as if the simple act of walking through a door can erase your short-term memory. It's like our brains hit a reset button as we transition from one space to another. The threshold acts as a mental barrier, causing a brief lapse in memory. The doorway becomes a portal of forgetfulness, leaving us wondering about our own intentions. We stand there, caught between two worlds, trying to piece together our thoughts. But fear not, this isn't a sign of a failing memory, but a fascinating quirk of how our brains work. It's a reminder of the complexity and wonder of our cognitive processes. Let's explore the science behind this everyday mystery, and understand why doorways have this curious effect on our minds. Researchers have delved into this phenomenon to uncover the mechanisms at play. We'll see how our brains use location cues and memory systems to navigate the world, and why sometimes those systems lead to these amusing memory lapses. It's all part of the intricate dance of our mental faculties. Join me as we unlock the secrets of the doorway effect. Together we'll uncover the reasons behind this quirky occurrence and gain a deeper appreciation for the marvels of the human mind. The doorway effect, my friends, is more than just a momentary brain lapse. It's a fascinating phenomenon that many of us have experienced, but rarely understand. It's a manifestation of a powerful cognitive process known as the location updating effect. This effect is our brain's way of keeping track of our environment and updating our mental map as we move through different spaces. Our brains, those incredible organs, constantly create mental maps of our surroundings. These maps are essential for us to function in our daily lives, helping us to remember where things are and how to get from one place to another. These maps help us navigate our world, from finding our way home to remembering where we left our keys. They are like internal GPS systems, guiding us through the complexities of our environment. Think of it like this: each room or location we enter becomes a distinct chapter in our brain's internal map. Each chapter is filled with details and information relevant to that specific space. As we step through a doorway, we're essentially closing one chapter and opening another. This transition requires our brain to update its map, which can momentarily disrupt our train of thought. This transition, this shift in our mental scenery, can disrupt our train of thought, causing us to momentarily misplace the information we were holding. It's like our brain hits a brief pause button as it adjusts to the new environment. But there's more to the story. The doorway effect isn't just about location, it's also deeply intertwined with how our memory functions, specifically a type of memory known as episodic memory. Episodic memory is our ability to recall specific events and experiences from our past. It's like a mental diary that records the episodes of our lives. When we walk through a doorway, our brain may momentarily struggle to connect the current episode with the previous one. Let's delve deeper into the workings of this intriguing memory system and unravel its connection to the doorway effect. Understanding this can give us greater insight into the complexities of our cognitive processes and how we navigate our world. Imagine your brain as a GPS, constantly tracking your movements and updating your position. This internal GPS relies on place cells, specialized neurons that fire when you're in a specific location. These cells create a neural representation of your surroundings, forming the building blocks of your brain's internal map. As you move from one room to another, different place cells activate, signaling a change in your environment. This shift in neural activity is crucial for spatial awareness, but it also plays a role in the doorway effect. The transition between these neural representations, like switching between different maps, can create a momentary blip in our memory retrieval. This location updating process is essential for our ability to navigate the world, to form memories linked to specific places, and to understand our position in space. But as with any complex system, sometimes these transitions aren't completely seamless, leading to the occasional forgotten intention at the threshold of a room. Now let's talk about episodic memory. This remarkable system is responsible for storing our personal experiences, those unique stories that make up our lives. When you remember your first bike ride or last night's dinner, you're tapping into your episodic memory. Unlike semantic memory, which stores general knowledge, episodic memory is deeply tied to context. It's like a mental scrapbook, filled with snapshots of our lives, each tagged with details like time, place, and emotions. This contextual richness makes episodic memory incredibly vivid but also susceptible to the doorway effect. Here's why. When we transition between locations, the context of our memories shifts. That shift can make it harder for our brains to retrieve information that was encoded in the previous context. It's like trying to find a specific photo in a jumbled album. The more similar the photos, the harder it is to pinpoint the one you're looking for. Section 5. The Notre Dame Experiment, a doorway to discovery. The doorway effect isn't just a casual observation, it's been scientifically studied and confirmed. This phenomenon, where people forget things after walking through a doorway, has intrigued scientists for years. Researchers at the University of Notre Dame designed a clever experiment to explore this phenomenon. They wanted to understand why walking through a doorway could cause such a noticeable lapse in memory. Participants carried objects from one room to another, either passing through a doorway or simply walking the same distance within a single room. The results were intriguing and shed light on the cognitive processes involved. Participants who walked through doorways were significantly more likely to forget what object they were carrying compared to those who stayed within the same room. This suggested that the act of passing through a doorway disrupts memory encoding. This study provided concrete evidence that doorways, those seemingly innocuous architectural features, can impact our memory retrieval. It highlighted how our environment can influence our cognitive functions in unexpected ways. The Notre Dame experiment, along with other research, highlights the powerful influence of our environment on cognitive processes. It shows that our surroundings play a crucial role in how we encode and retrieve memories. Our brains are constantly interacting with our surroundings, using cues from our environment to encode and retrieve memories. These cues can be as simple as the layout of a room or the presence of a doorway, and sometimes those very cues can lead to these amusing yet temporary memory lapses. It's a fascinating reminder of the complex interplay between our minds and the spaces we inhabit. Section 6. Don't panic, doorway effect is normal. Now, before you start worrying that every doorway you encounter is a threat to your memory, let me reassure you, the doorway effect is entirely normal. It's not a sign of aging or cognitive decline, but a natural consequence of how our brains are wired. Think of it like this. Our brains are constantly bombarded with information. To avoid overload, they've developed efficient systems for filtering, sorting, and storing information. The doorway effect is simply a byproduct of these systems, a minor glitch in an otherwise remarkable system. So the next time you find yourself standing in a room, drawing a blank on why you're there, don't panic. Take a moment, retrace your steps, and have a good chuckle at your brain's quirky way of processing the world around you. Section 7. Outsmarting the doorway effect, tips and tricks. While the doorway effect is a normal part of life, there are ways to outsmart it. One effective strategy is to verbalize your intentions. For example, as you're about to walk into the kitchen, say out loud, "I'm going to get a glass of water." This simple act of verbalization reinforces the memory, making it less likely to be forgotten. Another helpful tip is to create visual cues. If you're prone to forgetting why you entered a room, try placing a brightly colored object like a sticky note at the doorway as a visual reminder. You can also use mindfulness techniques to stay present and focused on your intentions. As you move through your environment, pay attention to your surroundings, engage your senses, and consciously acknowledge your purpose for being in each space. Section 8. Forgetfulness, it's not all bad. Believe it or not, forgetfulness isn't always a bad thing. In fact, it plays a crucial role in our cognitive flexibility and ability to adapt to new information. When we forget irrelevant details, it frees up mental space for new memories and experiences. Imagine if you remembered every single detail of every single day. Your mind would be overflowing with useless information. Forgetting allows us to prioritize important memories and make room for new learning. Moreover, forgetting can help us to see the world with fresh eyes. When we forget the specifics of an event, we're more likely to rely on our imagination and create new interpretations, leading to greater creativity and problem-solving abilities. Section 9. The Doorway Effect, a Universal Experience. The doorway effect, my friends, is a universal experience, a testament to the incredible adaptability and occasional quirks of the human brain. It's a reminder that our minds are constantly interacting with our environment, using cues and context to shape our thoughts and memories. So the next time you find yourself momentarily lost in the transition between rooms, embrace the mystery of the doorway effect. Share your experience with others, marvel at the complexity of your own mind, and remember, you're in good company. We've all been there, standing at the threshold of a room wondering, now what did I come in here for?